welcome back to the How I Ripped Off Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast. My name is Chip Thompson, and I'm joined, as always, by Mr. MC.
That would be me.
Mixing it up a little bit there. Yeah, we've been doing this for far too long. And this is episode 12 of season 1 of Chip, Kill Me Quick, part 2. So I figured this week, MC, we'll just skip what happened last week and just never mention it again.
It was so bad.
Hopefully this episode will be completely different.
Let's hope.
But yes, what did happen last week, MC?
It started off as a shit episode, just for a change.
Yeah.
But it was a slightly worse, more cringy version of shit because it was you trying to be a good writer but without the skills to be a good writer.
Yeah.
There was lots of wanky stuff about nightclubs and paths and mazes and bullshit. There was a brief respite, a delightful respite with a giraffe-headed demon or something like that.
That was nice, wasn't it? That was our little hug for the episode last week.
Yeah, and then it all went downhill after that. Kat got attacked by some bouncers for defending herself. But the real shit on the crown of the episode, the steaming turd, was Chip stalking Kat. And then at the end, she goes off with some dude she meets in a bar. He goes to Riley and... Ridley, whatever. And because this guy doesn't have a criminal record, they decide he's a murderer or something. Which he probably will be because, yeah.
Yeah, we have to justify Chip's actions at all times, apparently. But I still have a very, very faint glimmer of hope that the episode will be like Chip learning the error of his ways and to not be a big fat stalker.
I hope so.
Me too. God, I hope so. Well, let's find out as we get into Kill Me Quick, part 2.
Previously on Chip.
Kat continued to stroke the man's body before breaking away from his mouth and taking him by one arm, dragging him towards the exit. "Hurt me," she whispered, biting his ear.
You want me to hurt you?
He asked. Kat nodded.
What
the man started to say before Chip cut him off with a straight right hand. "I thought," Chip turned to face her, "that he was hurting you." "He was, and I was enjoying it." "I know we haven't spoken since," Chip trailed off. "How's the ribs?" "Fine. Are we done with the small talk? Want to have another throwdown?" "No, I just was following me." Kat finished his sentence. A few more minutes passed when a guy entered the bar. He scanned the bar quickly before walking over to Kat and sitting down next to her. They chatted for a while, with Kat moving nearer to him. Chip was shocked to see the pair get up from their seats and leave the bar, arm in arm.
What the...
Ridley said, "I've got a job for you. You've got contacts, right? You can find out who people are, what they're about. Kat, she went off with this guy in the bar. They just went out and left."
I see. This wouldn't have anything to do with your slight obsession with the broad, would it?
So he is a good guy. Chip put the folder back onto the table and sat back in his seat.
Hell no.
Ridley replied, "I gotta find Kat, make sure she's okay."
The chick can handle herself from what I've seen. We've got time.
Chip thought for a few moments. "What are you, Kat?" There was a strange sense of familiarity to Kat's surroundings as she awoke from her deep sleep. She felt well rested and rejuvenated, two things she hadn't felt in a long time. How did I know how to spell rejuvenated?
A spell check.
But that doesn't explain all the other things I've spelt wrong.
I think the others you just had a bash, but rejuvenated, you were like, I have no fucking clue.
She sat up, the sheet slipping off her body, exposing her naked breasts.
Thank God you included that in the narrative. That was an important point.
Oh, God, is this trying to... naked breasts, as opposed to clothed breasts. God, she was proper naked, she was.
Wouldn't happen in TV, though. There's always a sheet.
Yeah, they kind of clutch it, don't they? Like they're embarrassed about the person they've just had sex with.
Can't let them see my boobs.
Like everyone I've ever been with. They're always clutching sheets, even before we've had sex. Don't know. What? She sat up, the sheet slipping off her body, exposing her naked breasts. She looked around the room. It was her place. There was movement next to her.
So she went back, presumably she's with the dude from the bar. She was like, "Hey baby, come back to my place. It's a abandoned house."
Just a really old mattress and a broken TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I just kind of conveniently forgot that piece of continuity.
Yeah, probably.
Great.
Morning.
Dwayne said, sitting up and kissing Kat's shoulder. She flinched and got out of bed. She looked at the guy she had met in the demon bar last night. It's always nice when you pick someone up at a demon bar, isn't it? I wonder if she's got a sheet with her at this time, if just her naked breasts are roaming free. What are you doing here? She said.
Don't tell me I was that bad. You forget me already?
He smiled a little smile. You doing that voice just makes that extra creepy.
Yeah.
No, I remember. I don't usually bring guys back here. Ever, in fact.
For some reason.
Back to this, like, a derelict building where it's falling down and you've only got a stained mattress. Dwayne was also out of bed now, fumbling around for his clothes and slipping them back on as he found them. No mention of his naked breasts.
I feel honoured.
He said.
It is a little more confined here than in the park.
It's a weird thing to say, isn't it? It's like, it's a lot smaller place to have all the sex than the outside, isn't it?
It's smaller inside buildings than outside buildings.
I don't know how Dwayne can afford his semi-expensive suits. Kat reached for a pair of jogging bottoms and a small white t-shirt and put them on.
Thank God her naked breasts are no longer exposed. Now they are clothed breasts.
That kind of reads a bit like a Sonic High School line. Kat reached for a pair of jogging bottoms and a small t-shirt and put them on.
Did she do it fast, though?
Yeah, she's not as fast as Sonic.
Yeah, obviously.
Dwayne was dressed quickly and stood on the opposite side of the room to Kat.
So?
He said, Yeah, get out. Kat replied sternly. No messing about here.
Smooth operator.
Fuck off.
What? No breakfast?
Are you deaf? I said get out.
Okay, no problem. I'm sorry if I did something wrong. Can you just...
There's some weird commas here, actually.
I didn't know how to use a comma, MC.
Okay, no problem. I'm sorry if I did something wrong. Can you just pass me my jacket?
I think I just went through the episode afterwards, just pushing the comma button in random places.
Just sprinkling them over.
Kat looked behind her and saw a brown leather jacket over the top of her television. Weird place to put your coat. She picked it up and took it over to Dwayne. As he reached for it, he pulled the jacket towards him and used his other hand to stick the needle in Kat's arm. He is a murderer!
Oh,
Chip
God.
was right all along!
Thank God, the heroic stalker that is Chip.
Is that the new heroic sacrifice? Chip did a heroic stalk.
Oh, God.
Oh, I'm uncomfortable again.
Yeah.
I do worry if I ever tried to deal with a story of, like, sexual abuse or something like that.
Oh, God. I mean, you did, technically, in Tomorrow Gason, sort of.
Yeah, but in a more, I'm going to try and write this kind of way. You know,
yeah.
Early seasons of Tomorrow Gason were very much just throwaway, kind of silly, or attempts.
Yeah.
But as I'm trying to be a writer, I don't think I'd want to read that, MC.
The thing about writing and any sort of art is that you have to be shit before you can be good.
That's true. One day I'll get there.
Yeah, but the awkward thing about this is that you're just trawling, putting yourself face first in this trough of shit that you produced. And it's not nice, because on the one hand it's sort of the dissonance of, this is a different person writing this. This Chip then isn't you.
Yeah.
But it is also you.
Yep, and that's the bit I always cling to when we read this. The bit that makes me feel like a terrible person. Kat looked behind her and saw a brown leather jacket over the top of the television. She picked it up and took it over to Dwayne. As he reached for it, he pulled the jacket towards him and used his other hand to stick the needle in Kat's arm. He quickly pressed the plunger. It was like a big bomb or something. He quickly pressed the plunger as she fell backwards onto the bed, dazed and confused.
See you later.
Dwayne blew Kat a kiss before leaving. And now I think you did go with the right voice choice for that character. Although it kind of sounds like every pub landlord in Tomorrow Gason as well.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to tell you this, but I don't have that much range.
The range,
as
MC,
a voice actor.
The range! It seemed like a long shot, but he hadn't had much success in other bars so far that evening. Mock's bar was fairly quiet, although it was still early. Chip quickly scanned the bar as he entered to see if Kat had come back. She hadn't. Oh good, he's stalking again. Brilliant, fantastic. Normally he finds her quite easily though, so it's almost like she's been drugged and is unconscious somewhere. He sat down on a stool at the bar. Searching local bars and clubs was thirsty work. Stalking is thirsty work.
Sometimes when I'm stalking, I get dehydrated. That's why I drink Lucozade with all the electrolytes that get me on top of my stalking game.
Lucozade is such a stalker drink.
You reckon?
Yeah, anyone who drinks Lucozade is a fucking stalker. You should be worried about them. Call the police.
I'm sure we're going to get that branding sponsorship any moment now.
This week's episode is sponsored by Lucozade. Stalk people. You'll feel great
We
about
think
it.
it's great. We encourage it. We here at Lucozade 100% encourage
Oh
stalking.
no, we're going to get sued, aren't we?
Yeah.
Can I just get a water? Chip said to the barman. Barman?
Ah.
Ooh. He looked over at Chip whilst rubbing a glass with a white towel. Classic. You're back, the barman said. Yeah, it would appear so. Chip replied. What I told you last night, that was the truth. I know the guy's name, and that's about it. Oh God, please don't hurt me. I have a wife. She's expecting a baby. Please. The barman dropped the glass to the floor, causing everyone in Mox at the time to stop talking and turn to see what was going on. I am confused slightly, so we just had that argument about who did Mock's voice. But is this Mock? Because sometimes there's someone referred to as Mock, and sometimes there's the barmen, or sometimes the barman.
I'm assuming that would you know enough about pubs to know that it's just not the owner there 24/7 behind the bar polishing glasses?
I mean, I didn't know where commas go, so it's very unlikely. So I think we're just going to assume the barman, the barmen, and Mock are all the same entity.
I think you established the law so much you even have a shift rota for all the different bartenders that work in Mox.
Except in London when it's the same one. The barman dropped the glass to the floor, causing everyone in Mox at the time to stop talking and turn to see what was going on. They quickly went back to their drinks. They're like, oh, Chip's here again, probably going to shoot the place up. I'm not going to hurt you. Chip reassured the barman. I just like a drink. The barman nodded and fetched Chip's drink, laying it on a small red tissue and placing it in front of him. See, I did know how bars work.
Must be the VIPs.
It used to be white until the barman got beaten up by Chip, and now they're all covered in his blood. No charge, the barman said before disappearing out back.
Can I just say what I think VIP stands for in this one?
Yes.
Violent, impotent pricks.
Is that something you've always thought?
No, I just made it up. It's like, how would you describe Chip, the character, as VIP? Well, V would stand for violent.
He is an incel, so that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. No charge, the barman said before disappearing out back. Very generous of him not to charge for that glass of water. Wait, when did that come in, that glasses of water were free or had to be free?
I don't know, and I don't know if it's different in America. It's America, so they'd probably charge you for it.
I mean, I wouldn't know. That's beside the point. I
Yeah.
may have known about the water in a pub, but
Yeah.
not in a bar in America. So, did they ever charge for tap water? Was that a thing? This is really off tangent, but I'm really curious about this now. If you know if they used to charge about tap water back in the day, can you let me know, please?
It's fucking... In my day, they used to charge for tap water. 2 shillings for a tankard of puddle water.
And you had to bring your own red tissue to put it on, because you weren't a violent, impotent prick. Chip had hardly taken 2 sips of his drink when Kat walked through the front door. She didn't seem bothered by the words she and Chip had exchanged the night before as she sat down next to him. Hey, he said, a little confused. Have you seen Dwayne? That's how I think Americans say Dwayne. Have you seen Dwayne? Kat asked. Dwayne McCarthy? Yeah, we arranged to meet here tonight. Is he here?
So, at no point did Kat ever say this dude's name. So Chip is basically saying, oh, that guy you were with who I saw for about 20 seconds whose first and last name I now know.
The one with the driver's license number 743.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him.
Don't know where he lives. Nothing his job, his entire employment
I
history.
don't have any of his toenail clippings. Not even one.
But what's happening with Kat here? Because she was injected with something.
Yeah.
Is this like a love drug or something?
No, it's probably something. Oh, maybe. Maybe. Ooh.
I mean, that's still suitably creepy.
Yeah.
But Chip, the hero, will stop them.
Good.
He's going to VIP his way there. Yeah, we arranged to meet tonight. Is he here? I haven't seen him. Kat, look, why... Chip paused as the man in question entered the bar. Kat saw him too. She smiled, something she didn't do a lot. Smile, darling, you might feel better. Dwayne also smiled when he saw her. I'll catch you later then. Chip whispered to Kat, who was too busy watching Dwayne come over to her to hear. That is such a creepy line. Mm-hmm. Like, if we were establishing Chip as a massive stalker, he's just gone up to her and gone, I'll catch you later then. It's really unsettling. Chip slipped off his stool and walked towards the back area of the bar. He intended to keep an eye on Kat from a safe distance.
Oh, good.
Oh, this is not okay. Dwayne took the stool where Chip had been sitting and the two started to chat. They both ordered drinks and the ninja guessed they were staying put, if only for the time being. So yeah, it does seem like some sort of love drug or something.
Yeah, presumably.
That happened in Buffy plenty of times. People were like, yeah. But there's an episode where I think everyone falls in love with Xander. Because he does like some sort of love spell or something. And it's not as horrible as this.
I mean, it would be difficult to make it as horrible as this.
I don't think Buffy ever stalked anyone. 2 years passed. No.
It feels like 2 years. Just in the recording of this episode.
2 hours passed, and Kat and Dwayne were still at the bar. They hadn't drank a lot, and had spent the time talking and laughing. Very suspicious. Man and a woman talking, laughing, sharing a drink at a bar.
Do you know how beautiful you are?
Dwayne complimented.
Chip asked me to say that to him all the time in that voice, so got a lot of practice.
I like it when you break into my room at night and yell it at me. Thank you. Kat took hold of her drink and stared down into it.
You don't think so?
He asked. I don't know. A lot of guys seem to want me. Guess I'm sort of out there.
Does out there mean attractive? Because out there I thought meant like a little bit wacky, a little bit eccentric.
Yeah, I guessed in a sort of manic pixie dream girl kind of way, maybe.
Is that what she means?
No, I don't know. I'm trying.
You just haven't found the right one, Kat. Your soulmate. Everything is better when that happens.
And yet Dwayne's still less creepy than Chip right now. Don't you need a soul first? Kat said behind a small giggle. What? This is terrible flirting. This is like me trying to flirt. Oh yeah, I did write this. Right, okay.
But you do have one. I've seen it for myself. You bared it when we made love. With every touch. And every caress.
To make that as creepy as possible.
Just imagine like dribble falling out the side of his mouth as he's saying that. I'm sorry. I'm just a really sad person.
Maybe I can make you happy.
Dwayne smiled a small smile. Stop doing small smiles, Dwayne. No one likes it. Dwayne smiled a small smile, which made Kat smile too. Chip can hear what they were talking about from his vantage point, but all their loving smiles and silly giggles made him feel a little sick. Love.
It's way better to just stare at someone from inside, from when you're in a tree looking at them when they're taking a shit. That's what true love is.
And that's how I know you really love me. It was almost like watching a Jennifer Lopez rom-com, but without the vomiting blood.
That's my favourite bit, when J-Lo starts vomiting blood. She, like, meets the handsome rich guy, and then he comes up to her. He's sort of like, I'm sorry to bother you, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
No wonder Chip's idea of romance is so twisted. What films is he watching? What happened to Jennifer Lopez's career? That went off the rails, didn't it? Blimey. He knew the cat he had seen wasn't who she really was. Just as much as he knew the cat sitting at the bar wasn't even close to being her. Yeah, he knows everything about Kat. He knows her really well and knows everything about her. Psst. Chip turned to see Ridley crouched down behind him. What are you doing?
Lying low, literally. Seems the news about my little private conversation between me and the cop has gotten out. And I'm looking to avoid, well, everyone.
Can we just have this episode be Ridley trying to hide from the cops? And he's doing it by like hiding, like crouched down under a table in the most bar he goes to.
Like in video games when you crouch to stealth.
I want that. I don't want to do what we're actually doing.
No.
So why come here?
I thought you could use a little company.
Oh, he's such a good pal.
He's on the run from the cops and he's still like, no, my friends need emotional support.
Yeah, he's stalking someone. Better go and help him.
I thought you could use a little company.
Ridley peeked out from behind the chair and looked around the bar. After a few moments of coming to terms with his paranoia, he sat down at the table with Chip.
I figured it out, This whole you being drawn to Cat thing.
He said,
You're a stalker.
You're a stalker.
Yeah.
You're a VIP. And I bet you're going to enlighten me. Chip placed one of his feet on the table and sat back.
Damn right, bud. It's the least I can do. You don't give me enough credit. I'm a good judge of character. It's what makes me a good hustler. Throw in a mix of unworldly connections and knowledge with a side of being half demon. I've got a good insight into life.
And he really does have a good insight into life.
Better than Chip's.
Yeah, yes. I think that's, importantly, that is the clear thing right now. Come on then, spill all, oh great Ridley.
You and Cat.
Ridley folded his arms on the table and spoke quietly.
2 humans with strong powers.
Strong powers? Is that what we call it now?
Yours from being a ninja, hers, well, we're not sure on that front just yet. You come to New York, you're fairly new, doing the demon killing thing, feeling a little alone when you meet a girl who throws herself at you. You get touchy-feely with one another, and then bam, she leaves the next morning, leaving you feeling used and even more drawn to this strange, mysterious girl. You say you don't love her, and I believe you. This isn't love. This is lust and passion. Ever been drawn to a supergirl before?
Ooh. Chip paused as the memory of Evangelina came flooding back to him.
The hideous, misshapen beast that was Evangelina with her 17 knees.
Don't judge my kinks. The angel he had met back in Tokyo. Yes.
And I'm willing to put the Yankees on the fact that this was sometime after you were brought back.
How do you put a baseball team on something?
They stand on top of it.
And if he's wrong, they die?
Sure. And they still play better, wouldn't they? Baseball joke.
Are you actually from New York?
If I was, I'd have a hot dog.
And I'm willing to put the Yankees on the fact that this was sometime after you were brought back.
Spot on.
It's hard, for people like us, to make social connections with people outside of our demon box.
You get that from Amazon, do you?
We latch onto others in similar, asimilar environment. And in your extreme situation of suffering every day because you murdered a large number of innocent people, you sway towards the pain super people. You're so desperate to help that it goes way beyond the call of a hero. How am I doing, bud?
I think he's doing pretty well.
Desperate to help. He's not doing a good job of it, is he?
He's helping people. He
Yeah.
saved Amy when she was trying to help defeat Mr. Johnson.
True.
You know,
Okay, no, that's fair.
and I get Ridley's point about how we kind of said this before about Chip and MC actually as well, is that their life has become so weird with their year training to become supernatural crime fighting ninjas, and just kind of how they couldn't get jobs because
Yeah.
they've got no references and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, it kind of maybe stretches to their love life and connections as well, especially with Chip because he spent like a whole lifetime in hell.
Sure.
Went through this weird period where he was evil. So yeah, maybe there is a thing with him having to be attracted to someone who's like can defend
Yeah.
themselves or something.
Yeah, or somebody else who's in the same weird demon-killing
Yeah.
vigilante situation.
Yeah. I mean, this doesn't justify him stalking Cat.
No.
But you could maybe understand where the infatuation maybe comes from.
Yeah.
Chip stared at the New York native. He'd never thought about it before, but what Ridley said made sense. A lot of sense. Warm. He said,
And to conclude my very well-made point, sex is also a powerful thing. It drives us all, for a variety of reasons. You and Kat did the business, so you're more connected than you would be normally.
she doesn't seem that connected at the moment. Chip watched as a still smiling Cat left Dwayne at the bar and headed for the toilets.
Chick's got issues. Show me someone who don't. But hers are the messing with your mind kind.
And a guy slipping things into your drink? Chip pointed Ridley to Dwayne, who had just reached into his jacket and was dropping some form of clear liquid from a syringe into Cat's drink. Chip pushed his chair back and marched towards Dwayne.
Really good job this place is insured.
Ridley said, watching Chip go.
Do you just go to Lloyd's of London and be like, I'd like to insure my demon bar against being smashed up by ninjas?
Well, no, you just property insurance,
Sure.
pub insurance,
I guess.
bar monies. As he slowly walked towards the bar, Chip saw Dwayne slip the substance and its small container back into the inside pocket of his jacket. Excuse me, the ninja said calmly as he approached.
Yes?
Dwayne smiled as he turned round. It was quickly wiped off his face as Chip introduced him to a knuckle sandwich. Dwayne fell backwards off his stool and landed in a heap on the bar floor. The occupants, demon and human alike, all watched to see what would happen next. They knew all about the ninja and his distaste for evil. Only the ones that weren't afraid of him or had nothing to hide dared drink in there now. Does Chip have a distaste for evil?
I mean, he's done a lot of it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, when you eat too much of the same thing and you get really sick of it.
Oh, he's like my Subway sandwiches. The barman shook his headed before swiftly heading into the safety of the back room. He's got like a panic room back there now.
Yeah,
a chip room.
Yeah. Just covered in red tissues.
And water that's £3 a glass. Chip helped Dwayne back to his feet and held him with one hand. What did you do to Cat's drink?
I don't know what you mean.
Cut the crap. I saw you drop whatever it was. What's going on? Cat wanted to know as she returned from the bathroom. This guy isn't what he says he is, Chip replied, keeping a grip on Dwayne. Put him down, Cat demanded. Do you think Chip was like so happy to see Dwayne do that? He's like, yes, justified.
I'm a good person.
Vindication. Chip obliged after a moment's pause. He grabbed Dwayne's jacket, pulled it down over his shoulders, and reached into his inside pocket, looking for the item in question. After digging for a brief spell, Chip turned to Cat. You have to trust me on this. I was sitting right over there, Watch, and I saw this bastard spike your drink.
I think maybe he was going to say watching you, then you sort of cut himself off.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the ... confused me.
Yeah.
Okay. I was sitting right over there, Watch, and I saw this bastard spike your drink. At least he's self-aware enough to realise he shouldn't be stalking. Yeah. Why would that be bad? Oh, yeah, stalking. Bad. Bad Chip. You were watching me? Again? Before Chip could mumble a reply, he heard a whisper in his ear. It was Dwayne, just out of Cat's earshot.
She doesn't remember what I do to her when I give her my magic potion. Good job she doesn't, really.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Chip swung round and decked Dwayne with a big right hand. Again he hit the floor. Having seen enough, Cat tackled Chip to the floor of the bar and started to wail in with big punches. Oh good, they're fighting again. Because their relationship was so smooth before this. On the floor, pinned down by her, Chip did his best to cover up. Raising his knee, he flipped Cat up and over his body, breaking free. They both got to their feet. I don't want to hurt you, Cat, Chip said. It wasn't that long ago he had beaten her pillar to post in his pursuit of the one. Not again. She connected with a big right hand to Chip's jaw, which staggered the ninja. Whilst he held his jaw, Cat had picked up a glass from the bar, the one Chip had seen spiked just a few minutes ago. She swallowed the lot before he could stop her, and followed up her previous attack, leaping forwards and throwing herself at Chip. He caught her in the air and slammed her to the ground. Cat wrapped her arms wrapped around his neck, landing a headbutt and flaying with her knees.
What is going on?
This new fighting style Cat's invented. Chip picked himself up off the floor, with Cat still clinging to his neck. He dove through the door of the bar, landing on the dark street. She broke her grip and they both stood, standing only a few feet apart in fighting stances.
The barman must be so relieved they're outside.
But if they'd broken the door, he's like, oh, that's all right, I've got that insured. I've got door insurance. I don't want to fight you, Cat, Chip said, moving closer. She hit another big punch and went to throw another, which Chip blocked, grabbing her arm and swinging her around and away. She was up quickly, throwing kicks, punches, and a whole range of attacks. Chip blocked a few of them, taking heavy blows when she did connect. Then he was caught off guard in his attempt at not fighting back. Cat took Chip down by knocking the back of his knees and straddles his back. Using his hair, Cat drove Chip's face into the concrete several times,
Ouch.
leaving a puddle of blood and his face a crimson mask. When the tension went out of his body, she stopped.
Sorry, shouldn't that be claret mask?
No crimson, I'm moving on. I'm a better writer now, MC. Can you not tell? Look at this very dark-natured story I'm dealing with very well right now. Thinking she had killed him, Cat let go of his body and ran as fast as she could. A dizzy Chip was just able to bring his head up to watch her go before passing out from the blood loss. The cat is very strong.
That went well.
Yeah. Is Dwayne dead? I want him to be dead now. I want this over with.
No, he's fine. Oh, God, is he going to kidnap Chip now?
I'd rather he did that, to be honest.
Yeah.
She hadn't been home long, but it seemed like hours as Kat paced up and down. The window in the room was wide open, and she could see the street below. The fall would turn any normal human being to pulp, and would definitely kill even someone as strong as her. She resembled a panda as the mascara ran down her face along with tears. So we've had a giraffe, and now we're onto pandas.
Make sure you describe her appearance in terms of makeup and stuff.
Was it penguins we had last week as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ridley's a teddy bear.
And there were wooden animals of some sort?
Yeah. I think I'd just been to the zoo or something.
Were you a furry?
Her hair was ragged and messy as she couldn't stop running her hands through it, and her breathing was erratic. The sound of Chip's skull crashing against the pavement was the only sound she could hear, and her body didn't feel right. Although Kat couldn't put her finer on it.
Presumably you meant finger, but finer.
I hope so. What's a finer? Although Kat couldn't put her finer on it, something was definitely wrong. She could usually control her emotions by drinking, getting laid, or fighting. But she just couldn't shift these overwhelming feelings pouring out of her body. It was enough to drive her insane. It had to stop. Just very like Chip. Like, is Kat going to go evil? Are we going to have evil Kat? Kat took a deep breath and took a step towards the window. As she did, Dwayne burst in through the door. Oh no. Please no. Please make this stop.
Oh my God, are you alright?
He said, putting his arms out and walking towards her. Kat had stopped her walk to the window and backed away from Dwayne's advances.
I was so worried when that man challenged me.
What, like to... I'll see you in the ring, Dwayne, for the WWE Heavyweight Championship.
I was so worried when that man challenged me. He must have knocked me out, because when I came to, you were gone, and he was lying on the floor outside the bar. He wasn't moving, Kat.
I know, she yelled in reply. I know.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I can't stop feeling everything. Kat started to pace the room again, the tears falling freely now. It hurts, and I don't know how to make it stop.
You must have hurt before. I mean, you live in a crappy place that the homeless are too good to live in. You go from guy to guy every night, and you have no idea who you are or how you got here. Hasn't that just sucked every night of your existence?
So does Dwayne know something about Kat?
Has he got some sort of weird emotional thing where, like, he feeds off negative emotions or killing people or something?
All of the above?
Yeah.
Kat was shaking now, about ready to burst. There's something I can do about that, she said, looking towards the window once more.
Wow, I guess you don't need the last dose then.
Dwayne reached into his inside pocket, opened the secret compartment, and brought out a small white container.
Only the really messed up people want to end their lives before the course is finished.
Where's this guy?
Why does he just...
Oh yes, my secret plan.
Maybe... Well, okay, so thankfully, I think we're getting away from the whole sexual assault thing.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he's just trying to drive her to suicide. Like it's
Yeah.
like an emotion drug or something.
Yeah.
I feel slightly
Like-
relieved.
Not antidepressants, but pro-depressants? Depressants.
I'm pro-life and pro-depressant. You drugged me? Kat's mind felt frazzled. Why?
Why is he telling the emotionally turmoiled and incredibly violent person with superpowers that he's been drugging her? What could go wrong?
Well, he's a bad guy, so he's dumb automatically, and he has to tell her a plan, right?
Yeah,
He has
probably.
to explain every minute detail of it. I am evil exposition, and I will tell you all. But again, maybe he feels like he's got her under his control completely.
Yeah, true.
I'm paid to. My research into human emotion and mood-changing drugs is renowned, if you talk to the right people. But mostly, I did it for the sex.
Good. Bring it back to the...
Dwayne smiled. Stop smiling, Dwayne.
At least it's not a small smile.
Ugh.
Now be a good girl and kill yourself. Here, I'll help if you're a little unsure.
So he's kind of like Scarecrow from Batman. You know, he's like, instead of fear drugs, this is emotion drugs. Pro-depressants. As Dwayne moved forwards to a despairing Cat, the door to the room burst open. As the dust rose, a figure appeared in the doorway.
I wouldn't take another step if I was you.
They said.
Who the hell are you?
Dwayne demanded.
I'm the hero.
Ridley said, stepping forwards.
Yay, Ridley!
Definitely the best character. Dwayne flicked out a knife and lunged. Ridley caught Dwayne's hand with the knife in, and the two wrestled on the floor for a bit. Using his free hand, Dwayne landed a few punches onto Ridley and freed his hand. As he was about to bring it down to slash his opponent's throat, Ridley quickly mutated, moving his head out of the way, just in down and clubbing Dwayne on the back.
What is going on?
Okay, down and time are quite different words. The knife went flying in the other direction as Ridley started to come out on top, landing with more clubbing blows. "Stop!" Cat screamed. She jumped up from her sitting position and ran for the door. Ridley tried to run after her, but a bruised Dwayne clung to his leg, holding him back. Just as Cat leapt out of the window, Chip ran past Ridley and Dwayne, diving out of the window behind her. His extra weight allowed Chip to catch up with Cat just in time to grab hold of her and put his body in between hers and the ground below. He took the full force of the jump, cracking a few ribs, jarring his neck and tearing something in his leg. This is what he did for Amy, except he jumped off a cliff that time and somehow survived.
He's done it again.
Yeah, at least he's, this is probably less of a height than a cliff.
Yeah.
And he's used to it now. He's like, I know, I've got this down, I've got
Built
the
up an
technique.
immunity.
The knowledge that he would heal wasn't much comfort. His face was the size of a grapefruit, and
It's not that big.
No, it's not, is it? Maybe I meant like a watermelon or something?
Yeah,
Grapefruit.
He's got beaten up so much his face has shrunk to a medium-sized citrus fruit.
His face was the size of a grapefruit, and the Elephant Man would have seemed like a stud in comparison to Chip's current facial features. Oh, I was trying.
You were.
He could feel Cat sobbing in his arms. At least she was alive. Ridley looked down from the window the pair had just both jumped out of and shook his half-demon head. Dwayne popped up behind him, knife back in hand. Ridley stepped aside and brought his elbow up to meet Dwayne's face. The knife went flying out of his hand and landed on the ground below, close to where Cat and Chip lay.
My employer's gonna be really pissed when he hears about this. That's the thing.
Ridley's voice was a lot gruffer due to the mutation.
They won't hear. At least not from you. See, on my way over here, I made a quick phone call to his police detective, saying that if he were to come by this address in about half an hour, he'd find Dwayne McCarthy, unconscious, and with some of those illegal drugs he loves to make on his possession. As my buddy Chip might say, you nicked. Now just gotta take care of that unconscious part.
Ridley mutated back to his human self as he knocked Dwayne clean out with one punch. So Ridley's phoned the police detective and be like, there's going to be a dude who's got lots of illegal drugs on him at this address.
I guess maybe Dwayne McCarthy is a known... Oh, no. The police detective said that Dwayne McCarthy didn't have a record.
Yeah, which clearly meant he did. So maybe the police know that. They're like, right, he's got no previous convictions. Arrest that man! Down on the street, Ridley helped both Cat and Chip to their feet, calling over a passing cab and telling the cabbie that if he didn't say anything to anyone about his two bleeding customers, he would get paid double. As the taxi pulled away, the street was filled with blue flashing lights and the sound of police sirens. That cabbie must be really freaked out right now. Like, oh yeah, there's someone with the size of a grapefruit head, clearly a drugged woman and a half demon thing. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything, don't worry.
He's a regular at Mox. It's just like, I'll just get the red handkerchief and it'll be fine.
I'm going to charge you for the water though. After throwing up multiple times thanks to the liquid charcoal Chip had forced her to drink to rid her stomach of the drugged drink she had had earlier, she spoke weakly and in a slightly sarcastic way. That was a tough sentence. Yeah. I guess that makes us even. On the winning a fight and brining.
Yay! It's back! Brining!
I can spell rejuvenated, but not bringing. For fuck's sake.
More brining.
I guess that makes us even. On the winning a fight and brining each other back from the brink side of things.
Brining each other back from the brink side of things. Oh, things got a bit brinky there. You're right, mate? You look a bit brinked.
Oh, you don't want to walk on the brink side of life.
Don't worry, mate. I'll brine you back.
Fuck's sake! I guess so. Chip replied, but I doubt it'll be the last time, on either side. Is he saying basically they're both going to go evil at some point and they'll just have to save each other? Kat nodded slightly before slowly reaching for her coat and heading towards the door. Want to give me a big speech about how you hope I've learned a lesson before I go? Chip watched Kat as she stood near the door of his apartment with his swollen face.
She's got his swollen face. That's what it sounds like.
She's got a grapefruit under one arm. Do I really need to? He asked. Tell you what you already know?
Do I really need to tell you what you already know?
Yeah, but there's a question mark that breaks that up.
Yeah, there is.
It's weird.
Not, yeah.
It really says, do I really need to? Tell you what you already know. You stay on this self-destructive path and you'll achieve it, no problem. I won't be following you and watching you anymore. Thank Christ! Fucking great.
All right, fine. I won't stalk you anymore.
Because it's a bad thing, Chip! I thought I could help. Save you from yourself or whatever it is you're fighting against. I was wrong. This is something only you can do. For yourself. End of my slightly deep and meaningful but very good point.
The very good point is that he's going to stop stalking her.
Kat quietly nodded, accepting Chip's words. He took it as her form of an apology. 'Cause sorry I got drugged and you were following me? She closed the door, and Chip was once again alone in his apartment. He intended to clean up his place soon, but for now he just collapsed on his sofa, unable to stand any longer. And that's the end of Kill Me Quick, Part 2. So, I'm going to do that thing that you do sometimes where you try and explain this away.
Okay.
Okay, so Chip isn't actually a creepy stalker.
Right.
He was trying to look out for Kat in a bad way.
He sees himself in her.
Yeah.
He knows that perhaps at the time he was like, he thinks that if somebody had been there to watch out for him,
Yes.
then blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
He felt sort of betrayed by his friends at the time, like they weren't helping him.
Mm-hmm.
So this is his very bad way of attempting that.
Yeah, he's
Which
trying
is
to...
why it's fine to stalk. Thank you, Lucas Aid.
Yeah, he's trying to stop her from becoming him, basically.
Yeah.
So she doesn't stalk people whilst drinking Lucasade. But he's doing it in a really overbearing way.
Yeah.
And I did not have the skills to write that subtlety into it.
And it's sort of exactly the kind of way that Kat would hate as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, not that anyone particularly enjoys being stalked, but the sort of the overbearing aspect of it.
It's like, I'm going to help you.
Yeah, Kat doesn't like being told what to do.
Yeah, yeah. And he does, I don't know, fancy her or care about her, however you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I think we've said it before, is that, when they slept together, it meant more to Chip than it did to Kat.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, Chip is going to put the Lucasade in the bin and realise that what he was doing was right. I mean, it's still bad that he is like, oh, no, that's like Kat apologising to me. I guess that's fine. I'll accept it. Oh, I'm such a good person.
Yeah.
So it's written very poorly, very changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get the point.
Yeah.
The execution
Yeah.
was bloody awful.
Yeah.
But it was nice to kind of have a Cat episode. She's been slightly on the fringes and bringing more into the sort of main character kind of, box.
Yeah.
I guess.
The demon box.
The demon box. So we kind of got hints that Dwayne had an employer who was paying him to test these drugs.
Yeah, and whether it's going to turn into a big bad or just no.
Yeah, because we haven't really had that in Chip yet, have we? We've very much been established in the world and like one-off episodes and the main characters really.
Yeah, I mean, even the supposed sort of what's felt like could be a big bad, the demon cult trying to bring back the one, were just stories hired by Ridley.
That's
Ridley.
correct. That is his name. Well done.
Dudley.
12 episodes in. Yeah, so we've kind of had, that was kind of Chip's episode, putting Tokyo and stuff behind him.
Yeah.
Now we've had a Cat one, we've had a Ridley one as well.
Yeah.
So maybe, we're getting to the halfway point of the season, so maybe it's, we'll be looking at more of a ongoing story from now on.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, because, there was just hints of what Dwayne said that made it seem like he had an employer, he knows a bit about Cat as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so should we see what the next episode's called?
Let's
Actually?
do.
Maybe it'll give us some clues as to what's going to happen next. Don't know why this one was called Kill Me Quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because...
We was driving Cat towards suicide for
Yeah.
some reason.
Yeah, I guess
Because
so.
evil stuff.
Well, next week's episode is called Pool Shark.
I hope that the giraffe demon has a friend who has a shark head and they like to play pool together. And they just have a nice old chat while they're playing pool.
Oh, that would be so nice, wouldn't
I
it?
know.
I mean, it sounds like it's going to be another Ridley episode,
Yeah.
right?
Which could be, I mean, that's fine. That's not as good as the animal-headed demons being nice to each other, but
Ridley is the best character.
He is.
Yeah.
not that was hard.
No, it's really not. No. Well, if you want to come tell us about why Ridley is your favourite character, did you know that there's numerous ways in which you can get in touch? You can find us on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/HowIRippedOffPodcast.
And we're also on Twitter at How I Ripped Off.
And you can find our entire back catalogue, which includes Chip and all the previous Tomorrow Gason episodes.
Lucky you.
That'll kill a few days for some reason if you're in some sort of institute. It's on SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and YouTube.
And if you want to tell us what kind of animal-headed demon you'd be, you can do that. Just scroll it on the outside of our house. Or you can leave us a rating and review. That would also work, I guess.
Yes, because that really helps us. Oh, why not just, if you're a fan of the podcast, why not do a share? Because,
Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be nice. Just be like, hey, this podcast, I like this for some reason because I'm a
Please
mental
don't judge
person.
me.
Yeah, I'm going to go listen to this and drink a nice glass of Lucozade.
It's silly and it references Buffy, and that's just enough. Lucozade.
And then you'll become a How I Ripped Off Buffy the Vampire Slayer VIP.